boy, Soso Juv, back in the building, and we are here with the My 5 Cents podcast. I'm going to go ahead and quickly introduce the cast of characters. We got HLS still in the building, or that way. We still got Meeshe Meesh right up top. And then over there, we got our lovely guest, Keenya Kelly. And we are going to go ahead and get to what we call cross-examination. But before we do that, let's do a quick recap of our list. So my 5 cents on the topic of the best marketing campaigns of the last 10 years, I'm starting at number 5, FYP, For Your Page, 55.2 trillion views. At number 4, I got the challenges. And yes, I started with the Drake in My Feelings challenge because he's probably in his feelings after the whole Kendrick Lamar thing. At number 3, we have the influencer marketing. Jake Paul, just everything that he's doing. At number 2, we have the sex tape. I know, but OnlyFans makes money. And at number 1, we got the community. Just say Bayhive, just say Swifty, and then you know what I'm talking about. HLS, what's on your list?
At number 5, I had a beer brand called Heineken, Worlds Apart. Number 4, the Black Jake from State Farm. Number 3, Wingstop, aka Thigh Stop. Number 2, Old Spice. And number 1, the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge.
And Meesh, who is filling in for the Logical Genius, what was your 5 cents on the topic?
Yeah, taking it from the top at number 5 was the Barbie movie, which was every and anywhere last year. Number 4 is the spotted Spotify Wrapped Year in Review list that we've all seen. Number 3, eBay, wear them out the store to get your hands on the hottest and exclusive sneakers. Number 2, Sherman Williams, The Loneliest Color, featuring Dapper Dan. And number 1 is Chili's Return of the Baby Back Rib jingle, featuring Boyz II Men.
All right, so Keenya Kelly, we've been talking about this cross-examination. So this is an opportunity for you to be able to ask us questions, for us as hosts to ask each other questions, to help try to sway your decision into the right direction. So I'm going to start off with you, Keenya. Do you have anything for cross-examination?
Yeah, so I am curious, why do you guys think that the Wingstop and Thigh Stop would be the most, like, why this would be like a one for the decade?
One for the decade.
So, Kenny, here's the thing, right? Have you ever heard of a chicken wing shortage? Right? Like, it was just the wings. It wasn't like a shortage of legs or drums or bread. It was just wings. And you have a whole business that prides itself on this one item, wings. So for them to say, hey, listen, I know a way to pivot and still make money during this shortage, I thought it was ingenious. I was like, hey, listen, for them to say, hey, listen, you know what? Come in. We have other pieces of the chicken. Come in, like, we're Wingstop, but come have some thighs. I thought it was ingenious.
What about you guys?
For me, I thought it was ludicrous. You are definitely one of one thinking that was genius. I mean, out of all the things there, Wingstop, you went Wingstop. I have another one out there that was in the People's Poll, but we'll wait till then for that. But Wingstop, no, I think that's a weak one. On top of other things on your list, but I'll wait till my turn for cross-examination.
Wow, a weak one. I would say I think it was. I mean, hey, you pivot. The supply was not there. They had to pivot. But I do think it was a good branding decision for that short period of time to change their name. I think they probably could have did a little bit more with it, but I think that was at least smart thinking.
Yeah, no, that's good. And then, so when you said about the sex tape, OnlyFans versus the influencer marketing, I think what you're saying is that influencer marketing is one, but then OnlyFans / the sex tape is a whole nother one. It's like that changed. What would you say about that? It changed everything, or?
Yes. So OnlyFans has become a little bit of a trend on our show the last few episodes or so. Okay, the My 5 Cents podcast, we're about to open up our OnlyFans where we're going to show our toes, right? And for some reason, Logical Genius thinks that we're going to make money showing off our toes. But people, y'all haven't seen my toes, so I have no idea what kind of money we're making off of this. So one of the things that was mentioned is that OnlyFans, it wasn't meant to be sexualized the way that it is now. And when it first came out, the valuation for the company was 34.8 million. So in 2018, 34.8 million was the valuation for OnlyFans. Boom, COVID happens. Sex workers are out of a job. We go to OnlyFans. In 2021, $9.3 billion OnlyFans valuation. They say money talk, sex talks. Money talks, sex talks. I don't know. One of those things happens, and that definitely happened with OnlyFans. Not that it's a place that I would go to, but I gotta respect the hustle, and they are hustling on OnlyFans.
I mean, it makes sense. And then when you were talking about the Chili's one, which one is that?
That's the I want my baby back, baby back.
Oh,
Yes. So the original song, I don't remember the name of the band that created it, but Boyz II Men re-recorded it. And they put it out, and because Chili's took it off the menu, I believe. No, they didn't take the ribs off the menu. They just stopped using that jingle for a while. I don't know if they got into like copyright infringement. I'm not exactly sure if they had the rights to the song, but they winded up. And I think too, it was also around the fact that it was also the 50th anniversary of hip hop. And even though it wasn't a hip hop song, they wanted to bring out, like, they were thinking it was all about like nostalgia and like, so I think that was a good, and two, I just love when old stuff becomes new again. Like that's my jam.
Yeah.
So yeah, and who don't want to see Boyz II Men win?
Nice. Yeah. Juv, do you remember the Boyz II Men in McDonald's?
The Boyz II Men in McDonald's? No, you gotta remind me of that one.
I thought you said Michael McCarran. What episode was that?
What about my question?
Oh my goodness. So what I have for cross-examination is your whole list, HLS. Your list is the newspaper. We spoke about this in the first segment. Your list is the newspaper. Most of your list is dominated by commercials. What are we talking about here? Can we get into 2024, please? You're talking about worlds apart, and we had a beer together. It was such a touching moment. Who even sees commercials anymore outside of YouTube, right? Like there's even subscriptions for that. What are we talking about here? Your list, I have to say, your list, the newspaper.
So funny that you say that. My list is pretty profound because if you're paying attention, right, we're talking about marketing. We're talking about marketing strategies, right? Heineken, they brought worlds apart. They brought two people from opposite spectrum saying, hey, listen, no matter what our differences are, we could share a beer. We could sit down and share a beer. Sales through the roof, right? If you think about it, the one thing that every culture has in common, it's not beer, but it's food. Every culture could sit down and have a meal together. And they brought that to beer. I thought it was ingenious. Personally, I thought it was genius. I don't like Heineken. I've drank it a couple of times. Shout out to R&D Rob, but Heineken's not my favorite. But because of that, I was like, you know what? Let me have a Heineken.
So the cure to world peace is having a Heineken, is what you're saying to me. So we should just go to Israel with a bunch of Heinekens, and we'll be all right.
You know what? You get people drunk. They're too inebriated to fight.
Oh, what? That's when the most fighting happens. But that's a side topic. What do you have for cross-examination?
Your whole list.
What?
Your whole list. So let's go to the FYP. Let's go to number 5, right?
Yes, FYP.
Right. How does that marketing strategy work off the internet?
Yo, you. This is what I mean by your thought process is so newspaperish. What do you mean off the internet? There's no such thing as off the internet right now. You are attached to the internet as soon as you wake up. So how can you come to me with this example of off the internet. What does FYP mean? Are you kidding me?
So you're not going to answer the question?
Oh, I'm gonna. If that's not wait, first and foremost, if that's not an answer enough, then you don't get it.
How
You
does it
are
work?
obsolete.
How does it work? How does FYP work during the Super Bowl? To the Super Bowl commercials.
You
How does
take a
FYP
clip
work?
from that Super Bowl commercial. You put FYP on your TikTok. Shoot, you can even have a reaction to that commercial. FYP on your TikTok. 55.2 trillion, not billion, trillion views off of that hashtag.
Okay.
Did your Heineken commercial get 55.2 trillion views? You better FYP it.
Wait a minute, hold up. But what about the algorithm? Is the part of the FYP page part that I was like, wait a minute, because you're only going to get served, and I don't want to get into the whole, but listen, we all on TikTok. We already know that you sort of drive the algorithm based on what you visit, what you view, how long, so forth and so on. Yeah. So while it has the potential for 55.2 trillion views, I don't know if that's necessarily guaranteed, depending on the algorithm and who's on and how it's being served, because similar to most social media platforms, depending on you bringing your cultural beliefs, understandings, practices, norms when you're on social media. So if TikTok if they're not trying to reach, Black women with natural hair, then it's going to miss me, because that's what I follow on TikTok. So I don't know. I think your list is maybe 4 and not 5. So I think by default, you might be disqualified.
I appreciate you trying to sell that point, Meesh, right? So with anything and everything that we have said, definitely nothing is guaranteed, right? Keenya Kelly, have you bought Old Spice deodorant in the last 10 years?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. So
have you seen the ad?
Whether you've seen the ad, the whole purpose of it is to influence the person to do something, right? So
it's a man's brand.
Keenya did not have no stock in buying some Old Spice. I don't even know if she bought a Heineken. I definitely ain't buy no Thigh Stop. So this is what I mean. Wow, I can't even believe your list. But I would say that, Meesh, nothing is guaranteed. But we're talking about exposure here. In the most exposure, 55.2 trillion. Can't lie about that. Meesh, what did you
agree to disagree? What are my okay? So I wanted to call out real quick. Speaking of Old Spice, because that spoke to me. I love the Old Spice commercials. But how could you miss the point of not talking about the Deion Cole Old Spice commercials with the girlfriend and bringing in the woman element, because that further drives home the point that it crosses sexes. So I think there was a little bit of a missed opportunity there for you to show that the brand has now elevated, and they even are selling beyond the male audience, and it's a male product. So I just wanted to call that out.
Because his explanation is trash, Meesh. You had to help him out. His explanation is trash. That's why.
I need to start at the beginning. What happened was, and Soso Juv, you kind of mentioned this in the episode previously, if it wasn't for Isaiah Mustafa and it wasn't for Terry Crews, there would be no Deion Cole. There would be no woman in the ad. So it had to start from somewhere. The Isaiah Mustafa Old Spice commercials set the trend for diversity for Old Spice. It opened a bigger door for Old Spice, and it carried the way. It paved the way for Deion Cole.
Point HLS. I think he just got a point there. That was a good comeback.
Keenya, we don't care about the partnering up that they have going on. They're tag teaming.
She's giving credit where credit's due. Stop being a hater.
What we care about is your decision, and it is decision time.
Okay.
We want to know who is in third place.
Number 3.
I was very intrigued by so many of them. So when she said the Barbie movie, I was like, that's a huge one. Yeah. I was waiting on somebody to say Wakanda Forever, the launch of but nobody said that. And then when HLS was talking about Black Jake from State Farm, I was like, I mean, the stats on that was insane. But then when you talked about Community and Beehive and Swifties, I just kind of was going back and forth. So in third place, unfortunately, I would say is Meeshe Meesh. Because many of the campaigns, I was completely unaware of them. Like the Wear 'em out the store, I was like, "Oh wow!" And then the Loneliest Color, I didn't wasn't familiar with that. And then the Chili's one, I didn't even realize that came back. The sound came back. So because I was only like I knew about Spotify Rap, I knew about Barbie, and I was like the other three, I just didn't know anything about them. So it was hard for me to say, "Let's girl, let's go," because I wasn't familiar with them.
Meesh,
Sorry,
don't
sir.
worry about it. People think that this thing is easy. It's not easy. This is the second time we've had a guest host, and this is the second time they've been in third place. So don't
This is
feel bad,
true.
Meesh.
This is
You're just
true.
gonna have to make it make sense
Listen,
later on.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I could take the criticism. It's all
Okay.
good. But hey, now you know about
Yeah,
these other
exactly. So now I kind of
campaigns.
want
So
to learn
True.
about
True.
Wear 'em at
True.
the store. I'm like, oh, that's really cool.
The-
Okay, so then in first place,
Number one, we don't
um,
care about number two.
I went back and forth about it. But if I'm honest, if I had to go on a scale of 1 to 10, how much was I leaning towards this person for number one? I was leaning there for quite a while. I would say it was been 8.5, 8.7 the whole time. And it was definitely be Juve.
What? In
Yeah.
the building?
Because
Champ is here.
all the challenges have changed the game so much. Like every time I crisscross the country teaching, one of the things I teach companies about are challenges. The influence of marketing that has changed everything. I mean, the OnlyFans. I mean, it just changed everything. And then you look at people like all the major people have their own communities: Beehive, Barb's, Swifties. Like it's just a whole. It's like
Yeah.
and those of us that build online businesses, we are taught how to have community. So I was like, I was very like, ooh, the whole time. So sorry.
Yeah, I have to say that community piece, and honestly, but these other two hosts that I have here, they real suspect. But the community piece is really where we should really be honing in. Like, I think building a community is so huge now, and you want to talk about people that are sponsoring or want to do affiliate marketing. They want to know about your community. How
Oh
big
yeah.
is your community? So I think that one is absolutely huge. So
Yeah.
you heard about us. We want to hear from you. What is your 5 cents on the topic?
So I would definitely say that I feel like the biggest thing that we have seen is definitely my number one is the Barbie movie. Because the Barbie movie, like this was the most selling movie of all time. Like of all time, all movies. And it has never happened before. And it wasn't because the movie, it was the marketing strategy and all that around it. It was just something that the world has never, ever, ever, ever seen. My number two is definitely communities, because I mean you're watching like remember the Michael Jackson effect. You're watching that with Taylor Swift and Beyonce. You're watching all these people go to these concerts and pay this crazy amount of money and the outfits and just all this stuff that's happening with the communities. I don't know if I have a number. Oh, my number three would definitely be Black Panther. I think Black Panther set things up for Barbie, because no one ever done what happened at a movie until Black Panther happened and everybody was showing up how they were showing up and Barbie was able to go, "Oh, really? That's amazing." And they were able to take it to an entirely different level.
No,
And
you're absolutely right with that. With the Black Panther, I mean, people wearing dashikis to the movie theater. It was definitely out of control. So yeah, I agree with you
yeah,
100%.
for sure. Number four, I would say Super Bowl. And I say the Super Bowl because of what happened with Taylor Swift, Travis Kelsey. They were able to, sorry, they were able to capitalize on a relationship between the two of them and do all these kind of commercials around like dads having their daughters watching the game with them for the very first time, dads wearing bracelets. It's this whole like just something special just happened this year because of communities and all of that. So I only have four, but that's mine. That's mine.
Solid four.
mhm.
Yeah,
Another good one that I thought of just real quick as you were going over that list, and I don't know how no one thought of this one, was when Beyonce did release Lemonade and how she did it at night. No one knew. She changed the game when she released that album that way, and the marketing that went behind it, the way she now releases visuals. And so that's like an honorable mention, maybe.
Yeah. Well, you know what? If we did honorable mention, I would definitely say then Taylor Swift with that I think it was a month ago. She announced her new album dropping on April 18th at the Grammys. Like you had it was the hottest night of the year for music, and she knew she was going to win one of them, and she announced it right then and there. The and craziness that happened from that was just like, and then they realized a day later that it was 2 albums in one. So I think honorable mention for that one too.
Yeah,
so those two are crushing it, you know.
Yeah, so you know what, we're there, so we're gonna talk about this a little bit, even though this is an off tangent. So how do we feel about Jay-Z getting up at the Grammys, talk about my wife has never won album of the year? She goes ahead and drops a country album, and then in the same year, Taylor Swift drops an album. Like, how big is the Grammys going to be next year when it's Beyonce versus Taylor? That's going to be all the talk leading up to the Grammys. Is Beyonce going to finally get her album of the year producing a country album where Taylor Swift started off with? Or is Taylor Swift double album going to crush everything?
No, I think Taylor's still going to crush. Taylor's community is bigger than Beyonce's. That's the challenge. That's like, I think that Beyonce's, her content, her is way better than Taylor's, hands down. But the community, how big is Taylor's, is way bigger than Beyonce. And so that's why I feel like she continues to beat her. If they're talking about creativity, that's different. But the numbers are like, you know.
The numbers are the numbers.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they talked about the Swift effect on the NFL, and it's reported, I don't know how they come up with these metrics, but $330 million in brand value to the Kansas City Chiefs and to the NFL by her dating Travis Kelce, shown on that screen every Sunday. Yeah, Swift might be the closest thing to MJ as far as influence.
Correct. Influence. Yes. Yep.
Yeah. It's interesting. So what's also interesting is that we went ahead and did a people's poll, and I'm going to break down what's on the people's poll at number 5. And some of it was really more of the comments, I think, more than anything else. We had Doritos and Mountain Dew teaming up with Call of Duty, and that they just knew what demographic that they were going after by teaming up together and with Call of Duty.
Smart.
That was number 5. At number 4, we have anything that ends at 99 cents, because that's the difference maker, right? That's $1, but that's 99 cents. So we'll go ahead and get that thing that's 99 cents.
They get that. They win for that.
Number 3, we had Lay's chips when they had the consumers do the work for them by creating a flavor. So I don't know if you remember that. It was like pickle flavored chips and things.
That's a good one.
Yes. So that was number 3 by the people.
Really good one. Yeah.
At number 2, we had The Most Interesting Man by Dos Equis.
That one.
Those commercials definitely went through. And at number 1 by the people's poll, we had Coca-Cola by putting people's name on the Coca-Cola can. And people were buying Coke just to try to get their name.
Yeah.
You know what I used to hate about those things, like in the souvenir shops at the license plates with people? I would never find my name.
Yeah.
I would never find my name.
You would never find your name?
Yeah.
Wow. I will say, absolutely never find my name. Ever. So, Logical Genius isn't with us, but HLS, did we do something with ChatGPT? Or we say, nah, messy. Forget that.
Yeah, we got a little something.
Okay, what do you got?
2018, Nike released an ad called Dream Crazy with Colin Kaepernick. It was praised for his boldness, so I thought that was pretty interesting. We also had Dove. They came out with a campaign called Real Beauty. It involved emotional impact over the last decade. It focused on celebrating natural beauty and body positivity. So that was huge. In 2015, Apple shot on iPhone. That campaign showed stunning photographs and videos and user-generated content. So that was huge in social media world, as Soso Juv liked to mention. Number 4, Old Spice, which I mentioned earlier. And the other one was Always, Like a Girl. The powerful message resonated with globally, leading to widespread social media engagement and numerous awards. So that's what AI had to say on the topic.
Nice. I mean, between the people's soul and AI, there was definitely a lot of good ones that I didn't think of. Like
Mhm.
that 99-cent
For
thing, that
sure.
really had me keeling over
Oh,
on that
that
one.
was ingenious. That was ingenious.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. So, Keenya Kelly, if people wanted to get in touch with you or enlist in your services, how would they do that?
Yeah, so you can actually find me. I'm on all social medias: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, at Keenya Kelly, KeeNyakely. And then you could just send me a DM and let me know what you're doing and what you need help with, and we can see how we can help you.
All right, great. So go ahead, check her out, slide into her DMs, but not in that way. But go ahead and do that. We're gonna go ahead and say good night to the people. Starting off with Meesh. Meesh, go ahead, say good night to the people.
People, it's been a pleasure. Thank you again to the wonderful regular host for having me. And be good and do good. Thank you.
All right, HLS, go ahead and say good night to the people.
Kenya, you stepped in the wrong direction, but I'm building my community. The Line Steppers out there, they support me, they love me. Good night, everyone.
Ah, and Soso Juv, and the champion for this week. I'm gonna go ahead and say good night to the people. Kenya, I have to say, your decision making is quite impeccable. You have satisfied all the Juve and the Juvettes out there in the world. We are ready to start our community on OnlyFans with our toes. So make sure that y'all check that out. All right. So good night, everybody. Check out the toes. And Keenya Kelly and our lovely guests for today, please say good night to the people.
Yes, it's been such a pleasure being here with you guys. I have loved giving my 5 cents, and good night.